So you ever have those roles where you go to the gym and you train jiu-jitsu, right? And sometimes you go with people and you're just like, fuck, man, this person's getting really good. You know, I had about 8 weeks off from jiu-jitsu and due to the surgery I had. But now, like, even when I train, like, I'm seeing everyone, I'm so proud of the team I'm on because I see everyone progressing so great, right? Like, I see our team just getting really, really good, right? We have a lot of guys that are competing, not a lot, but we have a pretty good amount of people that compete. And, you know, I think we should celebrate that more. Like, some of these competitors are going out there putting their bodies on the line and really training hard for these competitions. And I see it, like, man, that person's moving really good. This person's like transitioning really good, transitioning really well, you know. And I'm really happy to see that, because you see the change in people and you're like, man, you know, this person's doing really good. Myself, I'm like in my head a lot. So my jiu-jitsu is not getting better right now. It's actually, it's me. I feel like I'm a lot worse in my jiu-jitsu game because of my injury, right? Like, it's constantly in my head. And like, I try to tell people that my jiu-jitsu is never going to be the same again. And I think, like, you know, everyone's telling me, no, don't worry about it, it's going to get better. But I know my body and I know how my body's feeling. And I've had so many injuries, right? I've had so many different tears in my body. And it's from all the sports I did and all the other bullshit I put my body through. So it's my own fault. But at the same time, you know, I love the sport of jiu-jitsu because it calms me down, it helps me out. So it's just, you know, I'm in my own head. Like, I can't transition the way I want to transition. You know, today I rolled really hard with my son, and I shouldn't gone that hard with him, right? And I preached to him about old school jiu-jitsu. Like, there is sports jiu-jitsu and then there's the old school side of it. And I try to tell him about the old side. I'm really the old school jiu-jitsu side, where I'm adding a lot of pressure. I'm gonna do some dirty ass shit to your face, or, you know, I'm gonna grab you in a fucking dirty ass heel hook or something like that. That's just my old school way of jiu-jitsu, right? Because I came from the old school. And man, the new school is just something different. It's a whole different fucking animal, right? These kids are coming up with some crazy shit, you know, and it makes it really difficult for us old school guys. But, you know, the basics always work at some point, right? So I like to add pressure. I like to smash. You know, that's my whole game, is the wrestling part, because I have a wrestling background and an MMA background. So that part for me is always like, yeah, I'm gonna use that smash, right? And I like to smash. I'll stand up. You know, if you try to wrestle me, I'm gonna wrestle you back down. But today I pushed it a little bit too hard with my son because I felt my knee giving out, and I was like, fuck, man, my knee started throbbing, and I haven't pushed myself at that level in a while since my injury. And I'm in my mind. Sorry for all the shaking because I'm driving right now on the freeway. But for all those who don't know, we live in a smaller town, so there's a lot of freeway. Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that. It gets a little bouncy here because I live outside of town on the outskirts, and the roads suck, right? But anyhow, like I said, I pushed myself too hard, and I could feel my knee starting to throb, you know. And you know, the doctors all released me, like even the physical therapist released me now. And maybe I wasn't ready to be released from therapy yet, from physical therapy, because, you know, I could feel it. I could feel my knee throbbing, and it kind of sucks. You know, my worst fear is looking at my knee and seeing it swell up again and having to go back into surgery again and be out for another couple weeks to like maybe months this time, right? So that's why I always say my jiu-jitsu is never going to be the same. It's because of the injury I had. My injury, I don't want to get injured again. I don't want to be out for a long time because it plays a part in my mental health. And so I try to pace myself. And I know there's going to be a point where my cardio gets back, my knee's going to be feeling good. But like, all it does is take that one injury and then I'm out again. And then at that point, it's just, how much more injuries can you really take, right? before you're just like, fuck, now it's affecting my personal life, my business, my personal life, where I can't support my family anymore because I have this obsession with the sport. So I think that's why I always say, like, my jiu-jitsu is also not going to be the same again, because I don't want to put my family through shit, right? My son, Noah, he can afford to get, he can't afford to get hurt, but he doesn't have the responsibilities like I have. You know, my responsibility is keep a roof over their head and food on the table, right? So he doesn't have those type of responsibilities. So now I just want to be that old Master Splinter guy against the corner and cruise through jiu-jitsu and just put my hard work and training in, but also just pick and choose my rolling partners and not be so focused on becoming better. I mean, yeah, I'm always trying to get better at it, but not be put in his head like, yeah, I'm going to compete, you know, this competition side. I have that competitive side in me, which is taking me a long time to understand that. It's not going to happen no more, dude. You know, those dreams that you had are not going to happen no more because I can't afford to get hurt, you know? And I play a lot in my head where I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll go do IBJJF Worlds and try to become a world champion at my weight class and my age group. But the moment someone heel hooks me and blows my fucking leg out or my knee or my foot, I'm back to square one and I'm going to be out again and having more surgery. And it affects my livelihood. It affects my business. It affects me putting food on the table for my kids because I'm not going to be a sponsor. Who wants to sponsor an old fucking mid 40-year-old man, you know? So it sucks. And those who don't understand, they don't have their own personal business, right? They're not working for themselves. You know, if you get hurt, you're able to take some time off from your job. You know, you're going to get, they're going to give you pay, maybe. You might have PTO, pay time off. I don't have all that, you know. My family, my business counts on me being there every single day. So if you get hurt, if I get hurt, you know, we're fucked. So it sucks, man. It really does suck. But, you know, all I can do is go back in there and train slowly. I'm just speaking my mind right now because, like I always say, I got a lot of shit to talk about. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Thank you for listening to me rant. Have a great day and God bless. Oos.